Khan. Hey, Shalom, Shalom.
Shalom.
Anakna waha aibar sha'al hawalakim la'atam. Call Shabawai Bahawa Kapshaw Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Ma'amath, hey, with the Hebrew Israelites, coming to you week in and week out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh to preach to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian Haitians, Israelite foreigners. Chum Atham Kaya Malak with Hashemayim Korab. Repent ye for the king of the hand. First and foremost, before we get started, we're going to go ahead and say, Call Allah, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh. A double honor to the elders and apostles of great millstone that told us his truth and rule well, and much respect to you brothers out there pushing this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. So pretty much, we in the time of prophecy, and we're going to go ahead and go into the downfall of America, Babylon the Great. This devil is going into his bag, so to speak, and doing them heavy enchantments. They had these articles on different people getting kidnapped and stuff like that. So this devil on the left-hand side is doing a lot of enchantments and sorcery.
Yeah, because you have Putin, and you're having a bunch of other people starting to come out and pretty much say that America is the most satanic country in the world, man. And that's of the truth, because when you look at the things that are being pushed from America onto the whole world, man, that sentiment is right on point, man. Because to give you an example, you had the whole incident with Target. That's in the news now, the controversy with them, because they had I think it was either a trans line or a gender neutral line for infants.
Target.
And the designer of that clothing line was a well-known Satanist. And so they eventually ended up pulling the clothing line from the stores, but online sales, they surged, And that's just one of many things that this country pushes out that the other countries are growing tired of, man. Because you had Kamala Harris go to, I believe it was Uganda, African. I think it was Uganda, one of those African countries, trying to push the Mo agenda over there, and pretty much when it comes to foreign relations, with America, all the nations that are in bed with Esau, they have to, take part in those different, in those different things, such as, giving women liberation, pretty much giving rights to the Moes, all right, and of course, when it comes to the financial estate, they gotta bow down to that, and everybody is growing tired of Babylon, man. So throughout the scriptures, prophecy details of how that hate is going to begin to befall all the nations for Babylon the Great. You go
ahead. This is Yeshaya. I got a precept. This is Yeshaya, Isaiah 33 and verse 1, because pretty much what we're seeing for so long these countries was going after America, Babylon the Great, but now they're starting to form their own alliances and doing those backdoor deals.
That's right.
This is Isaiah 33 and 1. It says, Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. Pretty much going into how these other nations is going and making those pacts together. It says woe, meaning destruction, because the Lord is doing an implosion, which is to destroy from within, and then out, with America, Babylon the Great. And then after that, it's going to come the nukes.
Because what you're seeing is the decline of the morality, which is leading into the implosion what the brother is speaking of, man. Because our country is destroyed from within before it actually took it down, And see, Yahweh Shema Shai is systematically taking this place down. As we mentioned, all the wickedness that's being done here, okay, the child trafficking, the drug trafficking, the organ trafficking, all right, the blatant, witchcraft and Satanism that's being pushed. All these different things are tokens to show you this country is on the decline.
Out of quick. This is Quahalat Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9. It says that the thing that hath been is that which shall be done. It's like which shall be and that which is done. That which, it's like, I'm gonna read over. The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Because pretty much, that's the same way we saw Rome go out. You see, pretty much they had a decline in morality. You know, we're seeing the Mo agenda. You know, the woman before the man, stuff like that, and decline in their economy. Yeah, economy, because they didn't have no new laborers coming or funding the system. It wasn't stimulating the economy. What do we have now? People don't want to work. You know?
And also to add to that, you had the military was stretched too thin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which we've seen that happen with America as well, man. America's in every other country, in everybody's business, and they're the actual home country here on the shores of Babylon. This is why the scriptures is known to describe Babylon as what the land of the unwalled villages. There's no home front here to protect ultimately. Man. You know, the military is everywhere but where it's supposed to be at. So if this place was to get invaded, all right, there's nobody here to defend it. Right? I'm talking about what you just said was doing the parallels with Rome, America. You go ahead.
This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I reprove. It's pretty much that's the job of a prophet, you see, to watch out for the impending dooms and the different prophecies coming to pass. Verse 2, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables. Pretty much make it understandable so that Jay can understand. It says that he may run that readeth it, showing that he has the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, a good understanding of the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. What vision is it talking about? It's talking about the downfall of Babylon. You see? The prophecies, yep. I was applying it to Babylon. It says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. You see, because again, each particular prophecy has a particular time that's going to occur at, you know? And so I'm going to read it. It says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, because it's going to be manifest. It says, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So it's going to happen right at the moment that's supposed to happen. Verse 4, because behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. And it's talking about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. It says, but the just shall live by his faith. You Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian Haitians. It says, yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, going into morality or the philosophy. It says he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, going into how he's in everybody's affairs. You know, you go to Psalms, the Holyum, it talks about how the wicked spread himself as a green bay tree. You know, so he's in everybody else's affairs. So like, it says, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is his death and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. This is a melting pot, you see. Verse 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, and that thick clay going to the money system. And that word is going to be Ibatyat. So like, in a second. It says a weight of pledges, because pretty much when you look at the reserve currency system, or the USD, it's just an IOU. You know, it's not backed by anything. Going into the guy brought out a good point. He said it changed over from a particular system over to currency, because currency comes from that root word current. So when you look at a current, like, it has to flow in a particular direction. If you don't have anything, if you got something mess up that flow, you know, it's gonna mess up the system.
It's gonna become stagnant.
Yep.
I found this real quick. It's going off of what the brother read earlier in the book of Ecclesiastes about, you know, that which is then is now, because America is literally following the same roadmap that led to the destruction of the Roman Empire. So this is off of feed.org. It says the fall of Rome and modern parallels. Now, mind you, this is written in 1979. Alright, so it says, I'm gonna jump down. It says Roman civilization began many centuries ago. In those early days, Roman society was basically agricultural, made up of small farmers and shepherds. By the 2nd century BC, large-scale businesses made their appearance. Italy became urbanized, immigration accelerated as people from many lands were attracted by the vibrant growth and great opportunities the Roman economy offered. The growing prosperity was made possible by a general climate of free enterprise, limited government, and respect for private property. Merchants and businessmen were admired and emulated, commerce and trade flourished, and large investments were commonplace. Now, when you look at how America was pretty much incepted, okay, America started, first of all, of course, with, them bringing over slaves, so-called Negroes. First was the tribe of Gad. It was already over here. Esau tried to enslave them, and they had constant rebellions against Gad. So they, went and got the so-called southern kingdom, from the different parts of Africa, and brought them over here in slavery. And that's what helped, begin America's commerce, man. This is what you have that term today called, old money, slave money. But as America began to grow, it pretty much, began to flourish by, what they call the blue and white collar, jobs, the Industrial Revolution and, such. So just continue on. Historians still talk today about the remarkable achievements Rome made in sanitation, public parks, banking, architecture, education, and administration. The city even had mass production of some consumer items and stock market. So see, everything that we're seeing in America, this is exactly what Rome was doing, man. Rome had the sanitation, stock market, the judicial system, all these different things. This is how we know this is Rome 2.0. Mm-hmm. It said the city even had some mass production and some customer items and a stock market with low taxes and tariffs, free trade and private property. Rome became the center of the world's wealth. All this disappeared, however, by the 5th century AD, when it was gone, the world was plunged into darkness and despair, slavery and poverty. There are lessons to be learned from this course of Roman history. It says, why did Rome decline and fall? In my belief, Rome fell because of a fundamental change in ideas on the part of the Roman people. Mm-hmm. Ideas which relate primarily to personal responsibility and the source of personal income. In the days of greatness, Romans regarded themselves as their chief source of income. By that, I mean each individual looked to himself where he could acquire voluntarily in the marketplace as the source of his livelihood.
Can you run that back? It was like a couple sentences up. It said some, just a couple sentences.
Let's start back at the beginning. Why did Rome decline and fall? Talking about this part.
It said, it says, why did Rome decline and fall? In my belief, Rome fell because of fundamental change in ideas on the part of the Roman people. Because pretty much going into morality, like you said, blue collar, it says, blue collar workers are those who perform manual labor. So pretty much build the buildings, just build different stuff. The more laborious work, pretty much tied into that. What we saw was it went from blue collar to like working in offices, but that coincided hand in hand with the morality, because what came with that was you had more masculine people back then. You see now when you tying into how life is today, it's more so feminine,
It says, I believe Rome fell because of a fundamental change of beliefs on the part of Roman people, ideas relate primarily to personal responsibility and a source of personal income, because they, like the scripture tell you, hey, you're supposed to make your living by the sweat of your brow, man. So like you were saying, that people had a drive to pretty much provide for themselves back then, man. Mm-hmm. Now, like you said, you got work from home jobs, pretty much technology is taking over to where people don't have to do laborers work anymore. Yep. It says, and the source of personal income in the early days of greatness, Romans regarded themselves as their chief source of income. By that, I mean each individual looked to himself where he could acquire voluntarily in the marketplace as the source of his livelihood. Rome's decline began when the people discovered another source of income, the political process, the state, which today would be the government. you know, the people rely on the government for everything. You got all these benefits, welfare, you know, so on. When Romans abandoned self-responsibility and self-reliance and began to vote themselves benefits to use government to rob Peter and to pay Paul to put themselves.
Yeah. Pretty much, that's how the Roman system was, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we got now. What you call it? The FRN.
Yeah.
It's this that word for ibaya, or the root word, Rosh says to change, exchange. It says to lend. Cause pretty much they had a video on Instagram where it was like 3 people sitting on a porch, and one Jake, he was like, hey, you owe me $10. So he paid the Jake in the middle. One on the left was like, hey, you owe me 10. So he was just passing the money around. Ain't nobody really get paid. That's pretty much what the FRN is.
Right.
Like
right.
you just lending to somebody else. That debt is still there.
It says, when Romans abandoned self-responsibility and self-reliance and began to vote themselves benefits to use government to rob Peter and pay Paul, to put their hands into other people's pockets, to envy and covet the productive in their wealth, their fate was sealed. As Dr. Howard E. Kirshner put it, when a self-governing people confer upon the government the power to take from some and to give to others, the process will not stop until the last bone of the last taxpayer is picked bare. The government's gonna rob you. And that's exactly what Esau is doing. And that has spread all the way to the world now, man. Because what's it, the IMF? You know, Esau has these decentralized banking systems in every country. Because eventually, what it's all leading up into is to where everything. That's why you have everything moving to the CBDC. Which all leads down to the MOTB, man. To where all nations will have to get that chip inside of them and find themselves subject to Esau Edom, man. You know, it says. The legalized plunder of the Roman welfare state was undoubtedly sanctioned by people who wished to do good, but as Henry David Thoreau wrote, if I knew for certain that a man was coming to my house to do me good, I would work for my life. Another person coined the phrase, the road to hell is paved with good intention. Nothing but evil can come from a society bent upon coercion and confiscation of property and degradation of the productive, which is what the New World Order is all about, man. All right? For this devil to heap everything unto himself, all right, to where you're gonna own nothing and love it. Everything is owned by the damn white man, the so-called Edom, the so-called white man who was the Edomites, man. All right. So what we saw, with, like you said, the parallels of Rome leading to that Habakkuk, Esau is trying to heap everything unto himself, man. All right. This man is coming in the guise of peace. Real quick, could you get Revelation 6:4? He's coming with the guise of peace. But with that peace, you know, like it tells you in Psalms, I believe 55, his words are smooth as butter.
55:21.
But a war was in his heart, you know. So he's trying to tell, I'm bringing in world peace. But his version of world peace is ultimately going to lead up to everybody being slaves unto him, man. And he's going to, do that by force.
This is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 4. It says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
Right, and he's using that sword, which is his military, all right, his policies, okay, his religion. Literally everything that comes from this devil is a form of his sword that is being used to take peace from the earth, man. You know, and so with that being said, what we're seeing is the buildup of his new world order, which is not meant for peace, but they're telling you the Great Reset is for the good of humanity, which is not. All right, Esau is that red horse that is coming to bring death upon the world, man. You know.
The latter, it says, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword.
Yeah, and that great sword is what's going to be ultimately led up into World War III, man. You know, you good, because all these nations are starting to wake up to that fact. This is why you're seeing BRICS is becoming the main topic of discussion, because all these countries are forming backdoor alliances with each other to come against Babylon, man. All right, because they seeing making deals with America breeds them no benefit. All right, when this petrodollar is fully devalued, man, all right, that's going to eventually, lead to pretty much world chaos, because everybody's going to be affected by that. And what's going to have to be the bailout is that new world order, man. You know.
I got going to his argument. It says U.S. debt a pyramid scheme. Russia's top MP. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna read a little bit of this. It says senior Russian lawmaker VV has branded U.S. Federal government debt as a global pyramid scheme that is heading for an inevitable collapse. The comments come as Washington struggles to agree on raising its debt ceiling to avoid a default. So pretty much it says the U.S. debt going to their money system. Look at the definition for pyramid scheme. It says a pyramid scheme is a fraudulent system making the scripture going to that if I'm not mistaken too. Going to the fraud, but it says a pyramid scheme is a fraudulent system of making money based on recruiting an increasing number of investors. So pretty much those at the bottom is the ones that fund the system, and that's how the system is set up in America. Because the ones that's on the bottom, they the ones that's paying the taxes, while the ones at the top, they not paying anything.
Yeah, because we have a saying: as the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. So like you were saying, because as the video we was watching before we actually went live, Jake was breaking down the whole thing dealing with the debt ceiling, man. And with that debt ceiling, he was pretty much saying that if they raise the debt ceiling, that's going to increase on the taxes on the middle class to the point to where there's not going to be a middle class anymore. Because all this what we're seeing taking place with the economy is to ultimately bleed out the middle class to where it's just the rich and the poor. All right, the elites, the 1% who's going to have everything, and the poor, which is anybody that's not of the elites, who ain't going to have shit. This is why brother read this in Habakkuk 2 and 5 about the soul that is in this man is not upright, man. All right, this nigga ain't right, man. He's not a wise king, because if he understood how a kingdom is supposed to be ran, and you need your subjects to be in their best condition to serve you, man. And we can't do that being taxed out our ass, being goddamn killed on every form. This is why he got to go, man. And the world is seeing that. All right. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, 10 and 16. It says, "Woe unto thee, O land, when thy king is a child, and thy princes eat in the morning." Okay, because Esau is the king of the world right now, man. Okay, he's in the power seat. He's the one that controls everything that goes on in the world. The elites, all right, mainly the Amalekites, the so-called little hats. All right, so it says, "Woe to the land, woe to thee, O land, when thy king is a child, man." And Esau literally is a damn big ass kid, man. All right, just Dennis the Menace, man. This nigga, he's doing this everywhere he goes because he refuses to take instruction from the Lord. Because the scriptures teach you on how to govern the kingdom, all right, how to govern the land. Okay, and Esau does everything in his power to go outside of that, man. All right. Which one? What verse?
30 to 31.
Yeah, you can bring that up.
This is a Bon Sirach 33 and verse 30. It says, "If thou have a servant, let him be unto thee as thyself." So pretty much, if you got a servant, you gonna make sure that he's good, Whereas with Esau is living up, so to speak. While his subordinates, if he was wise, he would make sure that his subordinates was good. But he isn't wise, It says, "Because thou hast bought him with a price. Thou have a servant, and treat him as a brother, for thou hast need of him as of thine own soul. If thou entreat him evil, and he run from thee, which way wilt thou go to seek him?" So pretty much, you just got to make sure that your subordinates is they're good, And going to, I'm gonna get this real fast. This is Bon Sirach. This is Bon Sirach chapter 10, and I'm gonna start at verse 1 because Esau. I'm gonna get verse 1. It says, "As a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered." All right, and here we don't have any. It's not being ruled in prudence. It says, "As the judge of the people is, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroyed his people going into Esau, Edom." It says, "But through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. You know, the city isn't being inhabited. When you go into the word inhabit, pretty much going into living, thriving. Nobody's thriving here. You go to show your Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2. It talks about how the people are mourning.
Yeah.
You know, because Esau pretty much is doing a slow kill. He puts the chemicals into the air. He puts it into the food. His system is set up to destroy you. You know, he's not using wisdom.
When you look at how he treats other countries as well, man. And this man went over to Africa, drained up all the resources over in Africa. All right, he pretty much, Europe is a land of no resources. He pretty much polluted the homeland to where they have to import trees over there now. You know, so this man is literally a giant leech, man. And like I said, that affects the people because the main reason why we start to see the people rebelling is because, hey, you're messing with their livelihood now, man. All right. Hey, you had when they put the sanctions on Russia, okay, they bombed the pipeline, right? You know, and that set the people back over in Europe, you know, in complete darkness during a heavy winter over there, man. You had people freezing to death, people are starving to death, man. You know, so this man does not give a damn about the people that are under him, man. You know, he literally views us as just tools that he can get rid of when he pleases, man.
You know what's crazy? Like, that land is like the best land. It is the best land on the earth.
Israel.
Like that whole, Israel and that whole, like they call it like the Fertile Crescent over there.
Yep.
You gotta be a devil to mess that land up.
Even over here, America in the scripture was known as the land of milk and honey.
Mm-hmm.
And look at this place now. When it was just Gad, you know, Reuben and pretty much the Northern Kingdom period all over here, you know, the land was beautiful. All right, it was abundant, you know, abundant in resources to the point to where they said, man, Gad and Reuben would literally just find gold, you know, randomly just lying on the ground, man, just pick it up and keep walking.
Mm-hmm.
Esau pretty much, you know, took everything, man.
It was a book I was reading. It was by D. Brown, pretty much. They said they called it a priestly realm or a princely realm,
Mm-hmm.
given to them by the Great Spirit, and had it in all caps. But it had the G and the S in all caps, or both in caps. So pretty much it's saying that the Lord gave them this land. It was a princely land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were a spiritual people, but just feeding off of what you was bringing out, this is Proverbs chapter 12, verse 10. A righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. Now, we apply this dealing with the animals, but the scriptures also detail men as beasts as well, man. You know, so that's also going into, you know, the people, okay? And hey, I said a righteous man regardeth the life, the life of his beast, man. And Esau doesn't regard the life of the people here, man. He don't regard the life of nothing, you know, honestly, because the people, you're feeding us GMOs, all right? You poison our water that we got to drink. You poison the air that we got to breathe, okay? And it's different things that is killing us from the clothes that we wear. All right, these clothes that we wear is mixed fabric is killing us. Mm-hmm. Okay, the Wi-Fi that you're used so that we can, you know, use the internet and these different devices is radiating us to death, man. These towers, all right, literally everything is being used as a weapon to kill the people worldwide, not just here in America, worldwide, man. All right, so knowing that this man does not give a damn about, you know, the people. All right, so for anybody that's, you know, still got your mind into politics, which at this point you still in that, you're a fucking idiot. All right, especially you Jakes. But politics, you listen to these guys speak at these world summits, talk about the WHO, the WEF, and all these different groups that you hear them talk for the benefit of humanity. That's all BS, man. Because that really goes back to what you would call the Malthusian theory, or something. I think it's the Malthusian theory. So the whole climate talk, you know, the world is overpopulated. That all goes back to that shit, man. Which is nothing more than the guys from the elite to bring forth their the New World Order agenda, man. Because the Earth is not overpopulated, man. That's a lie. Okay, the land of America itself could hold a good chunk of the population, mainly Texas. All right, there's abundance of land out here for people to be, you know, to be having their own land, not even to live on top of each other like how these apartments are now, man. So that whole overpopulation bull, that's a damn lie, man. All right, the climate control is that's a lie too, because this nigga, all right, he's the one that's destroying the environment, man. He's the one that's putting holes in the ozone layer, polluting the ocean, all right, polluting the air. You have fucking space balls of trash, man. Who's that being done by, man? So the whole talk about the earth dying, the earth is dying, not because of humans, it's because of the damn Edomites, man. You know? So, like I said, he doesn't regard the life of the people, because if he did, then he would make sure that life was so sustainable that we can serve him the best way that he can, or we can. Which is why he has to be removed, and the kingdom of heaven is going to be given to the Israelites, because in the kingdom, like we ain't going to be depriving the nations of you know, the essential resources that they need to live. Okay, you in the nation, in the kingdom of heaven, you nations, you're gonna have real food, you're gonna have clean water, clean air. All right, you're gonna have land where you're gonna be able to, you know, have your cattle and everything else. But the thing about it, what you will be doing is you will be serving under the Israelites and become tributaries after 1,000 years. Okay, you're gonna have you're gonna be tributaries. They're gonna be bringing us the best of everything that you have, man. You know. But see, this devil, as the scripture tell you, with Obadiah, let me get that real quick.
I appreciate it.
Go ahead.
This is Daniel. Also Daniel, chapter 5 and verse 25. It says, and this is the writing that was written, Mana, the Qual, which is also Shaqual. It says Upharsin. It says, this is the interpretation of the thing, Mana. The Most High hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. So pretty much he got a certain amount of time to rule. As we go to like Job chapter 14, he has bounds that he cannot pass. It says, Tekel, the Qual, thou art weighed in the balances and are found wanting. He's wanting. When you go into the word wanting, it goes into lacking. He's found ruling in righteousness. You know, going into how he wickedness. He I say okay, it's a lot. Yeah, he rules in wickedness. You know, he has the earth at a mourning state. It says, Peres, which is Paras, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. That's going into that time, but then it could be applied to this time as well. Pretty much his kingdom is divided. You know, you got two sides. You know, the Lord said he'll set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. You know,
Satan is against Satan, man. Because here it is, you got you know, these world leaders. You got America versus Russia, both Edomites, but they're divided against each other, man. Which we know behind the scenes, ultimately they all play for the same team anyway. But at the end of the day, they're divided because they got differing ideas or ideals on how they want their nation to be ran, even amongst the elite. The different families, they're divided against each other, man. Mm-hmm. You know, so. As the scriptures say, if Satan is divided against Satan, how can he stand? You know, in so many words, man. You know. So with that being known, these other countries see America as to blame for why the world is like it is, man. You know, because through America's policy, like we said, we always go into, man. They bring moral decline wherever they go to, man. And the nation see that now they're growing tired of this shit, man. Mm-hmm. So
they even did that in just throughout history, like even back in like the ancient time, like if a certain, like in Rome, a certain Edomite had power, they was in the same family, like they'll kill their own family just to get on top.
The Borgia family.
Kanye, that's pretty much, you know, how Esau gets down. You know, like in Rome, he would take out his family. You know, and like we just got earlier in the earlier parts of this video. Quahalat, Ecclesiastes 1:9. They did it back and then. You see, they did it back then in those times. They do the same thing now, and we're seeing the same things now. You know, that division.
That's right. This is Obadiah 1:1. It says the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. All right, and we're pretty much, you know, letting the world know the state of the world, man. All right, from, you know, what Esau has done to the world now all the nations are being put on alert, man. Okay, this is why you're seeing constant talks of World War III. All right, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Now, you so-called white people in a whole have been made small amongst the heathen, but specifically dealing with you Amalekites, you little hats, man. All right, because what you are coming to realize now is everybody is looking at you as the root of all the problems in the earth, man. You small hats, man. All right, because you are really the ones behind the scenes pulling the strings and everything. All right, and this is why you have the anti-Sem narrative being pumped down everybody's throat, because that's a cover-up. Anytime anybody starts to put two and two together with you, man. Now you're labeled as a damn anti-Sem, Go ahead.
It's the first one. It says Quatan, which is small. It says small, insignificant, unimportant, coming from the root word Quawat. But pretty much Esau's he's insignificant to these other nations. That's why they do those backdoor deals. The other word was Quawat, where it says I have made thee small amongst the heathen. Quawat, the root word, it says to loathe, be grieved, feel a loathing, to feel loathing against self, to detest. So pretty much Esau is detestable amongst these other nations. Like they don't want nothing to do with Esau either.
Hey, and to add to what you were saying, just get this quick article from RT. It says American elites are starting to concede that the world is rebelling against the U.S. and Washington has nobody to blame but itself. It says a former White House official has acknowledged the reality of growing resistance to the country's imperialism. In an interesting recent speech in Tallinn, Estonia, former White House official Fiona Hill showed that at least someone in Washington has enough self-awareness to see what's happening in the world. Hill acknowledged that the conflict in Ukraine has sparked a global proxy rebellion led by Russia against American hegemony. This is quite true, as many of us could see from the very start of Moscow's military offensive in the spring of last year, but this kickback has been a long time coming, and the U.S. has brought it upon itself through its deeds. First of all, it must be pointed out that the Soviet Union, modern Russian predecessor, led a rebellion against American hegemony through much of its history, especially during the Cold War. Moscow's support was critical for third world countries striving to overturn centuries of Western colonialism in Latin America, Africa, and Asia. Yeah, because they viewed America as poison, man. The Western way is poison, to the world, man.
Yep.
The U.S. took it upon itself to forcefully defend this colonial system. Indeed, the Cold War was really a giant proxy war between the U.S. and the Soviet Union over colonialism. With the U.S. fighting to maintain this system and the Soviet Union fighting to dismantle it, much of the world's population continues to be grateful for the help they received from the Soviets in breaking their colonial chains. I was curious to see if this word colonialism.
I got it right here. It says colonialism, the policy, pretty much going into Habakkuk chapter 2 and 5. It says the policy or practice of acquiring full or partial political control over another country, occupying it with settlers and exploiting it economically. So pretty much how Esau, he'd go into these different countries, he'd set up the McDonald's, he had embassies, pushing his philosophy and making money from those different garrisons to bring back to the United States.
Yeah, so pretty much, like you were going to earlier, he's draining these nations to make himself rich. So many words. Let's lead into a precept real quick. Because this, like I said, when you go on into Rome, that instead of everything being self-reliant, now everybody's relying on the government. So these countries, being reliant upon themselves. This is one of the reasons why he's able to get in power. Because when you go into Meyer Enshow Bauer, okay, he was pretty much the first to start that whole banking thing, to where they were pretty much lend money to a country, knowing damn well they couldn't pay it back, and then that country would become indebted to the damn Edomites, to the point to where they was never gonna get out that debt, man. So now he has been able to amass great wealth by going into every country and pretty much, lending to them and getting them to the point where they can never repay them. So they just, end up being slaves unto them, man. Just feeding off what you just said, this is Habakkuk 2:15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness.
Khan, you read it back?
Yeah, Habakkuk 2:15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink.
Khan, so the instruction to those that give their neighbor drink, when you look at, like to bring out a lot, the word West, Ma'irab, because pretty much, which goes into West, the westernization, going into his politics, his entertainment, his philosophy, his sports, diet, lifestyle, all that ties into that drink, that philosophy. Mm-hmm. So destruction to those that give their neighbor drink, going into the way of living. You see?
It says that putteth thy bottle to him, and making him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness.
Because pretty much when you go into these different philosophies, or the philosophy of Esau, Edom, it puts you at a state where you naked. You without righteousness.
Yep. You become shame. You pretty much been looked at as a shame afterwards, man. Because, like you said, you've been moved away from your natural way of living to pretty much being dependent on Esau.
Yep.
He's conditioned you pretty much to be a slave.
Yep.
Verse 16, thou art filled with shameful glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's hand, the cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory.
And that's why we see what they call it a critical race theory. Because pretty much, like Esau for so long, he was looked at as he was the good guy, but now all that history and everything is being brought back out. So now the shameful spewing is being put on their glory. You see?
Yeah. And what you just said real quick, this is 2 Corinthians 11:14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
You got it.
And say, just add to what you were saying, because the whole world at one point looked at Esau, the so-called white man, as an angel. Like this nigga could do no wrong. Like he's the perfect embodiment of what everything right is supposed to be, man.
Esau, he'd do something wrong and then flip it and be like, oh no, it was them the whole time, and then
Exactly.
like he did like
Yeah, because these damn Edomites, they're the standard of beauty. They tout themselves as the most intellectual nation on the planet. They view themselves as being the child of God, the children of God. But they're the damn devil, man.
Yep.
Hey, you are the embodiment of wickedness, man, imperfection. And the fact that you're a walking leper, you're a walking clean leper, it shows that you're unclean in all aspects, man. Physically, spiritually, morally, everything you could think of, he's wrong in it, man. And everybody's starting to see that, because going back to that Habakkuk, it said that you should have.
I got a quick one.
Go ahead.
This is Yeshaya, Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 7. It says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Now this can I wanted to tie this into how Esau, that veil that he has over the nations, going into pretty much going into his can you run that back? That I think it was Slop.
So Habakkuk.
Yeah, the Habakkuk.
Yeah, Habakkuk 2:16.
Yeah.
Thou art filled with shame for glory. It says, drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory.
Pretty much, because now how it is, or how it was, pretty much Esau was able to get away with so long, but now the Lord is removing those blinders, so to speak, and people are seeing Esau for what he is. That covering cast is being removed.
Yeah, you're having that shame put upon your glory, because now everybody has realized what you're famous for, man. All right, like Putin said this a few years back. It was like, it's hypocritical for you to criticize how he runs this country. At the time, there was talking about Syria when they had that whole false flag shit going on in Syria a few years back. It was trying to say that that president was gassing their people and they were just hitting them with water hoses and shit. But he was saying, how are you going to go into these other countries and try to bring peace to their country because you're saying their leaders are mistreating them. Then he said, look how you're doing the blacks in America. Look at the history that you've done unto the people here. You mentioned earlier the critical race theory. That alone, that's shameful spewing upon your glory, man. Because America was incepted off of rape, robbery, and murder of the tribes, man. That's why Russia had that song, in their choir, while the Negroes, while the niggas are sleeping, all right, pretty much they were singing about how they were going to nuke America, man. So shame is being spewed upon our glory, man. All the things that we bring out, that's being brought out, all right, the whole Pizzagate, Epstein Island, the millions of children that get trafficked per year, that go missing per year, the witchcraft that you're pushing out. All these things are shame upon your glory, man. You guys more on that?
Wow.
So as I mentioned, going back to the Obadiah, all right, you are being made small amongst the heathen. Now everybody's starting to despise you, Edomites, man. In every country. You had in South Africa, and you had those Edomites getting beat up and thrown in the street, man, getting kicked out of their towns, man. It says, verse 3, Obadiah 1 and 3, the pride of thine heart has deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the cleft of the rock, whose habitation is high, and saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Right. Because hey, you view yourself, with your nation's symbol, or your national symbol is that eagle, all right? That eagle fits the Edomite perfectly because an eagle is the proudest of birds, which, verse 4, I'm going to read that. It said, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, then will I bring thee down, said the Lord. So yeah, an eagle is the proudest of birds, man, because it flies the highest and it looks down upon everything, man. It swoops down and it pretty much looks down on his prey and it comes down and hunts his prey, man. And that's how Esau does, man. He looks down upon all the nations like, yo, can't nobody take me down, man. America has the greatest military. You see the stupid ass commercials every day. America has the greatest country. We're the greatest country in the world when it's nothing more than a giant welfare state, man. So the Most High has you Edomites deceived into thinking that everybody, still loves you. Everybody wants to come here and, be under the Edomites. No, everybody hates you, damn devils, man. It says if these came to thee as robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they have not stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? This is what we was going to earlier about how this devil will literally come into these other countries with the whole peace talk, I'm here for your aid and whatnot, and then drain you dry, man. And that's what you've seen in Libya. That's what you saw in Iraq, Afghanistan. They tried to do that shit in Vietnam and got ran out. Everywhere America has went, they had the same plan, was to go over there and extract everything they could from that country till there's nothing left, man.
It's a lot. I'm gonna get this real fast. It's pretty much you went into how Esau is lifted up in pride, but the Lord is going to recompense that pride. You see, this is Yeshaya, Isaiah chapter 37 and verse 28. It says, "But I know thy abode, and thy going out, and thy coming in, and thy rage against me." So the Lord is saying, hey, get another version. Pretty much, the Lord knows where Esau stays at. He knows it starts, and at the same time, Esau's still carrying the same energy. You see, but the scriptures say that the Lord is going to destroy him. Could you get Isaiah 10 and 33, I think it is? That pretty much, from everything that this devil has done against the Lord, first and foremost, in his people, the Lord hasn't forgotten about that. This is Quahalat, also Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 15. It says, that which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and the Most High required that which is past. So the Lord still requires an account for everything Esau's done in the past.
Yeah, because he had a lot to pay for, man, and he's going to use the other nations as the beginning of your downfall, man. All right, with World War III. Did you bring out the Isaiah 33 and 1?
Yeah. Come get it again?
Bible shot. Because I got a point I want to make with that before we get to Isaiah 10.
This is Isaiah, Yeshaya chapter 33 and verse 1. It says, "Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee.
Right. So these devils don't think that recompense is gonna come upon them for how they've done the people, because ain't nobody has done wrong to these Edomites, man. You know, hey, when you come to it's like how you did with Gad and everywhere else. Hey, you were welcome with open arms, and then right whenever you got comfortable or they got comfortable, you had that knife in the back of your hand, and once they turn their back, hey, you shanked them, and you stabbed the shit out of these people, man. And see, the Lord has not forgotten nothing that you've done, going all the way back, from the beginning. So, woe unto you that spoileth when thou wasn't spoiled, man. Because no nation, all right, did you ill will, but you did it to them, all right. Woe unto you that dealt treacherously with them that didn't deal treacherously with you, man. All right, because none of these nations, they never came up against Babylon, man. But yet, and you declare war on the whole earth, man.
You know that they try to make a bad light on that term Indian giver, like you give something to somebody they want it back. But going into that dealing treacherously, that term actually comes from when Esau and Gad would make certain agreements, and Gad would give him something, and then Esau would keep up his end of the deal. So then Gad's like, what the fuck? So Gad's like, yeah, like give that back. But all in all, like Esau owed Gad something, but they spun that, and that's just the MO of the so-called white man. That's just what he does.
That's crazy. We'll just add to that point. This is Sirach 34 and 22. I started 21. It says, the bread of the needy is their life. He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood. So you know what the people need to be able to sustain themselves, man. Okay? You know that the basic, could you get that real quick? It said that the basic, something along the line, the basic necessity of man is like water, milk, bread, all that.
Okay.
I know it's a slide, I don't know what chapter. But you know what is the necessities of man, all right? We need food. We need water. We need resources to keep our houses, in order, man. And this nigga is he's taking everything and hoarding to himself, man.
This is Bon Sirach 39 and 26. It says the principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil and clothing.
And so this man has taken that and weaponized it. So, hey, whether you realize it or not, we've been in a famine already for years, man, because majority of that shit is GMO. But we're getting to the point now to where Esau's saying that, it's too much carbon emission going out. So he wants to limit the world on what resources they have, which is wicked,
I got that term, can I get that real fast? Yeah, going back to Isaiah 33 and 1, it says, Indian giver is a pejorative expression used to describe a person who gives a gift and later wants it back or expects something of equivalent worth in return for the item. It is based on cultural misunderstandings that took place between early European colonists and the indigenous people with whom they traded. Often the Europeans viewed an exchange of items as gifts and believed that they owed nothing in return to the indigenous people. On the other hand, the indigenous people saw the exchange as a form of trade or equal exchange, so they had differing expectations on their guests, which it wasn't a misunderstanding. Esau understood that, hey, that this was the agreement. He didn't hold his end of the deal, so he pretty much going into Psalm 55 and 21. He had ulterior motives.
But you see how hypocritical that is for him to even, spin that to make it sound like that now, because he does that with his loans.
Yep.
His shit with his money. You go to the bank, or you go wherever, you go to the bank for a loan, right? This nigga will charge hella interest, to pay the loan back if you don't pay it back within a certain period, it accrues interest, which makes it even harder to pay back. So that's the ultimate form of being a so-called Indian giver, if you're using it in the context they do now.
Yep.
Because we're coming to you, telling you we have nothing, or asking you for a loan, and then when you had the law dealing with that, it's 7 years. You have the what's it called, the something of release, year release.
Yeah.
The year release. So after 7 years, if that debt's not paid, in full, you're supposed to let it go. It cuts it off, man. And this nigga, over to the point to where, hey, somebody could be dead, and you're still trying to collect something. Like, My father passed away like 3 years ago. He did. They're still sending. They were still sending fucking debt collectors to him. You know, in his name still, man. You know. So this devil, like I said, man, he's unrighteous in all his deeds, man. So to continue on, Ecclesiastes 34:21, it says, "The bread of the needy is their life. He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood. He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him, and he that defraudeth the laborer of his hire is a bloodshedder." And that's Esau Edom, man. Okay, he's literally known as a murderer because he's trying to take away, you know, your living, man. All right, the thing that we need to sustain ourselves, he wants to take away, man. All right, and allocate who can have what. All right, and how much of what, you know. That's unright, man. You know, that's wicked according to the scriptures, man. Okay, because every man is you know, allocated to his God-given right. Okay, the earth is full of resources, and yet you're trying to, you know, dictate on who can have, you know, how much food, how much water, how much resources or whatnot, man. That's wicked. All right, and for the fact that in you know, in this world, specifically here in Babylon, it's illegal for you to collect rainwater, which I wouldn't advise that because this water is polluted. But that's illegal if you're caught with that. It's illegal to have your own garden. Now people still have them, but if you know, Esau wanted to, hey, he could bring you up on charges if he finds out you have a home garden, man. You know, so these are just two examples to show you on how this man is a wicked and unjust ruler, man. Now, applying this to the world in general, all right, these nations are peeping that, man. Okay, so this is why you having, you know, all these backdoor deals being made, these alliances being formed, because we're leading up into, all right, to where these nations are gonna turn on Babylon. All right, America's allies are slowly, you know, thinning away, man. They're thinning out, man. Okay, you had Britain, you know, who is the mother of Babylon. All right, they disassociated themselves with America. Turkey, you know, and the list is going to continue to grow, man. These are just the two that came to mind, you know, recently. But get this real quick. Revelation 17:6. "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Right, because hey, the allies of Babylon the Great, man. All right, go into that real quick so you know, because you go into, you know, the beast and her allies, man. All right. You have the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns. All right, and the 10 horns. The 10 horns. It says it represents the common market or the European Economic Community. The EEC, established in 1958. Today, the EEC is known as the EU, the European Union. All right, so with the 10 horns being Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain and Portugal, England and Ireland, and West Germany. Okay, and so you had, you know, which are America's allies, man. So it says that the 10 horns which saws upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. And so now you're seeing these different countries begin to turn their attention away from Babylon and aligning with Babylon's enemies, Russia, China, you know, like I said, BRICS. It says, "And shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat the flesh and burn her with fire." Right, because they're seeing there's no benefit in aligning with America anymore, man. All right, the petrodollar is getting weaker by the day. All right, and the petrodollar is what America, you know, uses to do business with the rest of these different countries. So if the petrodollar is being devalued by the second, to the point to where these nations are no longer dealing with it, because you're having nations such as China bringing in, you got the yuan. All right, you got Russia, which I believe they said they're dealing with the rupees, okay? And you have these different countries saying that, look, we're dealing with straight gold. If you ain't got gold, we're not dealing with you, man. You know? And so everybody's beginning to hate the horde to the point to where they're going to all come together, you know, in the midst of World War III and shoot missiles on this place and burn this place, man. You know? So, like I said, the beast is you know, beginning to lose allies, man. All right? So, from that point, the Lord is using, you know, all these different events to bring forth the destruction of Babylon, man. All right? Go back to the Obadiah. I got you now, Isaiah.
Obadiah, which one?
And then, I'll read it. It's Obadiah 1, I stopped at verse 5.
This is Isaiah, Obadiah 1 and verse 5. It says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not left some grapes?
Right, because like we said earlier, man, they're trying to literally steal everything upon themselves to where there's nothing left for the other nations to have for themselves, man. When you went into what war was that? Was it the Cold War with Stalin?
Yeah, I believe it was Stalin.
Stalin.
Cold War.
You had World War II with, I think that was with Hitler, right? World War II.
It had to be World War II.
You know, and these different leaders. What you come to find out dealing with these Amalekites, the reason why they went to war. I use Hitler for example. All right, Hitler actually didn't want to go to war, you know, but he was eventually, you know, made to where he had no choice but to, you know, go to war because he wanted Germany to be able to establish their own currency. Same thing that happened with Libya with Gaddafi. And so when the Amalekites, pretty much the elites, they caught wind of that, you know, they was like, nah, we ain't having that, you know. No other country is going to be able to form their own currency because that's going to pretty much cut into us, you know, making money off of everything. So they declared war on Russia. They had that whole Russia and Germany. They had that whole propaganda put out, just like how they're doing with Russia now, you know, made them look like the villain and all that shit. When they was doing hella killing over there amongst those Germans, you know, under the rule of Hitler, man. You know, but America won't talk about that. You have to go do your own research on that shit. Now Hitler was a damn devil too, but see, outside of America, these other nations, they actually care about their people. Russia, they hold nuclear fallout drills for their people in the event of a nuclear missile hitting Russia. Like I said, in Germany, they actually Hitler actually had things set up for his people, you know, for their so-called Commonwealth and whatnot. But like I said, the moment where it became, they wanted to be self-dependent, the elites said, nah, fuck that. We're going to come in there and we're going to take everything that y'all have. You know, this is what always led to the point of where war started, man. And this is where we're getting to now. All right, because if everybody drops the petrodollar, that's going to, you know, bring the end to America pretty much being that main money getter. And so, hey, these elites going to have to declare war on pretty much the rest of the world, man, which is going to lead to World War III.
Yeah, it was a WW2 with Stalin.
Stalin? Okay, kind. I think World War I, that was Russia. Hitler, right?
I think Hitler was World War II as well.
Okay, so this isn't the same thing, man. But the point still remains the same, though, man. You know, they was trying to do their own currency, and the elites didn't want that to happen, so they declared war on it, man. All right? So with that being said, going back, verse 6, Obadiah 1 and 6,
Okay. Obadiah 1 and 6, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things stored up?
And if things are being searched out now by the prophets, by the mouth of the Lord. Okay, we're bringing all this information out. Now you also have truthers who are influenced by the prophets. All right, because truth be told, if the elites, you know, pretty much shared their wealth with the rest of their nation, man, the Edomites wouldn't be out here talking shit against the elites, man. They wouldn't be out here exposing all the facts, man. But these common Edomites, all right, they're seeing they're getting the short end of the stick, man. All right, but the main point being that the things are being searched out mainly through the prophets, man.
I got
all right?
precept.
All these information is being shown to expose the Edomites to the devil that they are, man. You got it.
This is the Hayim, Psalm 64 and verse 8. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And pretty much is going into how you said the truthers. Most of them is like Edomites, which they get some of the truth from the prophets. You see, but just point being, those of their own nation is telling on themselves. Back to Obadiah chapter 1, you said verse 7.
Yeah.
All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
Right. Today, you're about to find yourselves in a big trap that are being set by your friends, man. Your so-called friends, your business partners, your allies, man. They're all going to turn upon you, man, and aid in your destruction, you know. And there's not going to be anything you can do to stop it, man. All right, your nuclear defense system is not going to work. Okay, your best bet is pretty much just go ahead and just come with it, man. You know, because there's nothing that you can do to prevent the inevitable, man. You know.
Verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mountain of Esau?
And he has done that because they did. The scripture say there is there wisdom and teaming. You know, the wise men of you Edomites. All right, your wisdom is being taken from you as we speak. All right, that counsel that you're getting from these demons and Satan is becoming, less and less, man. All right, because you're at the point now to where you're trying to overpass the bounds that the Lord has set for you, man. As you brought out earlier, and you have been found. Your kingdom has been numbered, and you've been found lacking, man. All right, so the Lord said in Job, He has appointed you bounds that you cannot pass, and so now you're at the point to where you have reached the top that you can go, and you're trying to consult with these demons and Satan. Is there a way around that so I can continue to stay in power? And what you're finding out is that there's nothing you can do. All right, Yahushua is on his way back to take you out, and before he returns, he has his prophets out here detailing about how you're falling, and pretty much what the destruction is about to come upon you with, man. So that's it, man.
Come.
So now back to Isaiah. This is Isaiah 10 and 33. Behold, the Lord of hosts, shall lock the bow and terror, and the high ones of stature shall be hewn down, and the mighty, and the haughty shall be humbled.
So it says the high ones of stature. Who is this? Esau, Edom. You see, he's that high one. It says shall be hewn down. I'm gonna get a quick one real fast. It's going into that. This is Psalms 37. Verse 1. It says, fret not thyself because of evildoers, going into Esau, Edom chiefly. Neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. So the Lord is going to bring the destruction, and it started with the implosion of the U.S.
Can you jump? I'm gonna read this for you. He's going into that same chapter because it says he's gonna hew down the ones on high, right? Psalms 37 and 35. I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree. And that green bay tree is pretty much symbolic of his power. So when you Google what a green bay tree is, I'll Google it real quick to the screen. Is a humongous tree, and that's, like I said, that's symbolic of his power, man.
And it also referencing how he spread himself, his philosophies, his ways of life, the politics, how people think.
And so he spread himself all throughout the world like a green bay tree, man. All right, his power. All right, everybody fears this man. Okay, everybody is subject unto him. All right, but going back, read it again, Isaiah 10 and 33. Behold, the Lord of hosts, shall lock the bow and terror. It's like the bow of terror, and the high ones of stature shall be hewn down, and the haughty shall be humbled.
So pretty much Esau. You about to say something?
I'll go read it in the NLT.
Yeah, you got it.
it says, "But look, the Lord of heaven's armies, will chop down the mighty tree of Assyria with great power." Now we know Esau is the modern day Assyrians. He will cut down the proud; that lofty tree will be brought down.
Yep. So pretty much, in the scriptures, trees is references men in some parts of the scriptures. So that tree, Esau, Edom, is going to be cut down. You see, like you going to Isaiah 14?
No, it's going to see men walking the streets.
Okay. So pretty much Esau is going to be destroyed. I'm going to continue on. It says, verse 34.
Real quick, this is Mark 8:24. And I looked up and I said, I see men as trees walking.
And this was going into when the Lord, Yahweh Shah, had healed the blind man. And that was placed there because in certain points of the scriptures, trees is talking about men.
So just reiterating the point, like the brother was saying, you can equate this to, people. So Esau is known as that great tree, all right, the green bay tree. The Lord's going to chop his ass down, man.
Yep.
It says back in the King James verse, Isaiah 10:34, and he shall cut down the thickets of the forest with iron, and Lebanon shall fall by a mighty one.
Kind of going into the missiles and the chariots when Hamashiach Yahushua comes back. Esau is going to be destroyed. Okay. Isaiah 4 count, yeah, I get that. This is Yeshaya, Isaiah chapter 14, and we'll get verse 5. It says, "The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers," because pretty much the Lord is strategically bringing down Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. It says, "He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke." All right, and going to Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1, he did this by his unrighteous decrees, his unjust laws. When he wants to bring something to pass, he'll write it with a pen. Bring it into fruition. It says, "He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth." Verse 7, "The whole earth is at rest, and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, Since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us." Is that the point?
Yeah, because the fellas is the lumberjacks, man.
Yeah.
And Esau was pretty much that feller that was cutting down the nations, man. So that verse is twofold, because the actual trees, trees are living spirits as well. The actual trees are going to rejoice and sing when Esau, Edom is taken out of power. But the trees are also referring to the nations, because the nations are going to rejoice, like it tells you in Proverbs, 29:1, about 29:2, about when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So once Esau is taken out, all right, the trees, meaning the people, okay, they're going to rejoice, man, because there's not going to be anybody else that's going to, destroy them, man. Now, Israel, when we're in the kingdom, okay, that first 1,000-year period, all right, we're going to put pure hell on y'all as y'all learn the law, statutes, and commandments. But after the 1,000-year period, you're going to be able to go back to your lands and be able to live in your lands in peace, as long as you keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We're going to enforce them, but you're going to be tributaries unto us, man.
That was pretty much the point for Isaiah 14.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I had.
Hey, so Ado Amrat Zaza Zabanaya Palo is what those edification through the Spirit. While we want to say, Kahalayim La Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah Bahasham Chachudash. A double honor to the elders and apostles of great millstone that told us the truth and ruled well. Much respect to you, brothers out there, pushing the truth with our righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.